All right, I think we're ready to go. Thanks so much for being here. Welcome. I will introduce myself. My name is Walker Johnston. I am a white woman in my late 20s wearing a brown top, and I have light brown hair, and I'm wearing it down today. I work on the mobility management team at the New York City Department of Transportation. And we're excited to welcome you here for our first event in the Access to Independence program, an event series to connect people with disabilities and older adults to information and resources about accessible transportation. Today, we're excited to bring together the New York City DOT, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, the New York City Taxi and Limousine Commission, and the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey to help demystify the transportation network. We'll cover who does what, how the pieces fit together, and what services and resources are available to help you get around. We hope you leave today with some useful tools, new information, and greater confidence navigating the NYC region. And so, before we start, a few quick housekeeping announcements to help you get the most out of today's session. ASL interpretation is available throughout the session, and the interpreter's videos will remain spotlit and visible on the screen. Live captioning is also available. To turn it on, you can locate and select the Show Captions button in the Zoom toolbar at the bottom of your screen. If you don't see it right away, you can select More and then choose Captions. And if you have any questions about the material shared during the presentation today, please use the Q&A feature, which is also located in the Zoom toolbar. I think we can go to the next slide here to show that. Perfect. And we encourage you to submit questions as you think of them. We'll have a moderated Q&A session after the presentations where we'll group and address common questions. And if you are unable to use the Q&A feature, you'll have the option to raise your hand and submit your question, or rather, voice your question out loud during that portion of the session. And if you experience any technical issues during the session, you can send a message via the chat to the DOT technical assistance person. I think we can show that on the next slide. And they will do their best to troubleshoot. And additionally, this session is being recorded and live streamed to the DOT YouTube channel, so you will have the option to watch the recording afterwards. And now we'll share what you can expect from today's session. So we will begin with welcome remarks from the New York City Department of Transportation Commissioner Ydanis Rodriguez. Then we'll hear brief presentations from each participating agency, the MTA, the DOT, the TLC, and the Port Authority. And after that, we'll move into the moderated Q&A, where we will answer as many of your questions as we can. And throughout the session, we'll also launch a couple of interactive polls to keep you engaged. And with that, I think we will move on to the first welcome poll, unless Commissioner Rodriguez is here. So I think we'll begin with the first poll. So it should pop up on your screen shortly, but we would love to know why you decided to attend this session today. And so the question is, what brings you here today? And you can answer from here. So the first response is, I'm a person with a disability looking for better ways to get around New York City. Second answer is, I'm an older adult exploring transportation options. And then another answer or response is, I'm a caregiver or family member helping someone else navigate the city. Or I work for an organization that supports people with disabilities or older adults. And then lastly, I'm just curious and want to learn more. So feel free to select the response that corresponds to majority of how you identify or why you decided to join today. Think we're getting some responses here. In a moment, we will share the results. And so again, the question is, what brings you here today? And this should be a poll that's popped up on your screen. But if not, you can just think about your answer and why you decided to join this info session today. We can probably share the results now. Wonderful. So it looks like we have almost half of folks responded with, I'm a person with a disability looking for better ways to get around New York City. We've also got some folks who said that they're an older adult exploring transportation options. And then some of the other answers as well. So we've got a mix of folks here, but for whatever reason you decided to join, we're grateful and hope that you learned something today. And so with that, we can go on to another poll question that we have. And this is really to test your transportation knowledge. There's no pressure, but just see what you think. So the question is, who runs the subways and city buses in New York City? And there's one answer to this, and the options are the New York City Department of Transportation, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, the MTA, the New York Police Department, NYPD, or the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. So again, who runs the subways and the city buses in New York City? We'll give folks a couple more moments to respond. And we can probably share the results now. Let's see what we all thought. All right, so it looks like most people answered the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, the MTA, and so that's the correct answer. Way to go. And yes, more specifically, it is New York City Transit. So if you're thinking either of those two things, you were correct. Wonderful. Okay, great. Well, it looks like we are still waiting on the commissioner to join us. So I think that we will go ahead and begin with our next presentation, or our first presentation rather, which is the MTA. So we have Sarah Berry from the MTA, and I'll go ahead and pass it over to you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you. A quick audio description of myself, a visual description of myself. I am a very tan female with my hair tied up in a bun. I am wearing a beige dress with red florals on it and my blue MTA lanyard. I'm really excited to be here with you guys. If I can just get the presentation on screen, please. I'm here today to talk to you guys about the MTA. So, Metropolitan Transit Authority operates the largest transportation network in North America, with our core values being providing fast, safe, reliable, and accessible service to all of our riders. I work in the MTA accessibility team, and we have been tasked with working to create a more equitable and inclusive transit system across our system. And that also includes by removing barriers, ensuring that people with disabilities, our older adults, and all of our riders are able to navigate our public transit system with greater independence, safely, and reliably. Next slide, please. We're going to jump into what we do and where we operate. And so the MTA serves over millions of riders each day across all of our networks. We operate the subways and the Staten Island Railway, our bus networks, local buses, select buses, express buses, commuter rails, Long Island Railroad Metro North, and our paratransit system. We operate in New York City, Long Island, the northern counties of the Dutch up to Dutchess County, and Connecticut. And on this screen, I have 4 images of each of our different modes. So we have an image of a bus, subway, subway train, subway train. We have an image of our accessorized vehicle and an image of our rail car. If I can go on to the next slide. Perfect. So I'm going to go through each of our modes of transit through on these slides, and I will be describing the images on screen as well. So we have over 6,000 local, select, and express bus service that serves all of our riders in New York City. All of our buses are wheelchair accessible, and as shown on the left-hand image, our newer buses have wider doors, they have stronger color contrast, and all of our newer buses are equipped with digital information screens that provide audio and visual capability to our riders. One fun fact, a lot of people assume, given that we operate the buses, that we actually operate and control the bus stops, but in fact, the DOT maintains and operates all of the bus stops across the city. We only run the bus service. And on the right-hand side, there is an image of one of our digital information screens, which, as I mentioned, provides audio-visual. So it provides stop information, transfer points, and public service announcements in both audio and visual capabilities. Next slide, please. Jumping into the subway, currently we have over 493 stations across our subway system and SERTOA, Staten Island Rail, with 150 of the over 150 stations that are accessible. On the left-hand side, we have an image of one of our stations that has a street elevator to access the station. That's the 7th Avenue subway station that provides access to the F and G lines along on that station. When we think about the subway, a lot of times people only think about vertical access, right? Just the elevators to get in and out of the station. But when we talk about accessibility, that's not all we talk about. On the right-hand side, we have an image of our newer R211 train cars, and these provide additional accessibility. They have bright yellow color contrast on the floor. So when people enter, we have digital screens above the doors, providing, again, that audio visual capability, providing real-time information to our customers as well. We have flexible seating on these new train cars. And so everything that we do when we are thinking about accessibility is to enhance it for all of our riders and people of all disabilities. So when we make a station accessible, it's not just about adding an elevator and that step-free access, but we are also talking about the tactile guideways, or the tactile edges, our accessible boarding areas, and all the audio visual components that we have in system. And we'll jump into a little bit of those later into the slide deck. And on the left-hand side, as I said, we have an image, on our right-hand side, we have an image of our R211 train cars that has that color contrast, different colored seating to identify flex seating. And priority seating as well for our customers with disabilities. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, we also operate the commuter rail. So on the left-hand side, we have an image of our Long Island Railroad train pulling into a station, and on the right hand, we have a Metro North train pulling into a Metro North station. Both railroads have accessible stations that are accessible either via a ramp or an elevator. Our stations also, and our rail cars, have audio-visual information and have audio-visual capabilities. There's tactile edges at stations, and in addition, both railroads offer additional assistance for our customers with disabilities. They operate a program called the Call Ahead program, and that is for customers who need additional assistance which they can call 24 hours in advance, up to 24 hours. Usually it's 2 hours before you travel, up to 24 hours before a planned trip. And we will send out our ambassadors to assist you from where you are. They will meet you and guide you to the train that you need to go on, assist you with boarding, any assistance that you need, they will be able to provide it. And then again, someone will meet you at your last station to assist you as well. And so we'll drop links in the chat for these CARES programs, along with some information on how to access this. But it is an additional assistance mechanism that the railroads have, and really great for our customers with disabilities who may need access or additional assistance accessing our commuter rails. Next slide, please. Jumping into Access-a-Ride, and I see a lot of questions in the chat about Access-a-Ride, so we'll try to get to as many of these questions, but hopefully some of what I go through now will answer those questions. So we have a paratransit service that operates within all of the 5 boroughs of New York City, and it extends 3/4 of a mile beyond our fixed route service into parts of Nassau and Westchester County. It is a shared ride service that operates 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And our customers who are Access-a-Ride customers must book 24 to 48 hours in advance via the app or via phone. And we can drop in links in the chat to apply. A lot of misconceptions that people think you have to have a mobility disability to apply to Access-a-Ride. Access-a-Ride is available to all people with disabilities who fit the criteria of not being able to utilize mass transit for a variety of reasons. So we'll drop that information in the chat so that you can check it out, see if you qualify. And I'll just briefly talk about some of the images on screen. We have what's called our dedicated fleet, which is our blue and white, or our newer vans, which are the blue and yellow vans. These are operated by us. So we have an image there on the left-hand side where we have a ramp that is already deployed. In the middle here is an image of what it looks like when you are logging on to the My MTA app, the My AAR app, excuse me. And here you have your AAR ID with a password, and that is the way that you can book and manage your trips through the app. Really easy. It takes about 5 minutes to book your trip versus sometimes on the phone it can take a little bit longer. So we're really encouraging all of our customers to test out the app. We've made significant improvements to the app, so we ask that our customers test that out if you are an Access-a-Ride customer. And on the right-hand side, we have 2 images of drivers assisting customers onto their vehicles with the lifts deployed. Next slide, please. All right, jumping into MTA employees and customer service, one thing that we hear a lot from our customers is how much they love the assistance that they can receive at 3 Stone, our customer service center here at 3 Stone Street, and the assistance that they receive from our mobile sales units. And being an agency that is trying to be customer-led and listen to our customers, we have expanded our customer service center here at 3 Stone to 15 subway stations across the system that can help our customers with trip planning, real-time information, information about Omni, assistance with Omni, any information they need about our transit system. We have agents there that will be able to assist you at these 15 stations, and we'll drop the link in the chat so that you can identify which stations are closest to you if you need assistance. We also we have real-time alerts for our riders about their rides, their elevators, so people can pick and choose how to get real-time information. So if you have an elevator in your area that you are very interested in, you can sign up to get real-time alerts. You will be alerted if the elevator is out, if it's out for maintenance, unexpected, an unplanned outage. So it provides you all of that information at your fingertips. You can also select a station, of a specific station that you're interested in getting alerts on, or a specific train line. And it's all fully customizable based on our riders' needs. So we'll drop the link in the chat for our real-time alerts as well, and ways that you can sign up to those to access that type of information. And we have on our left-hand side an image of our customer service center that has a blue light on the top, so it's easily identifiable to our customers. On the upper right-hand side, we have an employee, a bus employee, an operator who is operating an express bus in his MTA uniform. And below, we have some information about our MTA alerts and signing up for our newsletters. And as I said, we will drop those links in the chat, and we'll be sure to share these links after the presentation as well. Next slide, please. All right, going into how are we doing all of this? How are we able to provide our customers with enhanced accessibility, and how's our team able to achieve our mission? Well, it's all through investing in accessible transit. The MTA has made a mission to increase accessibility and ensure that our system is accessible to those that need it, but it's also available to any person who needs to use our system. And so we just recently passed our 25 to 29 capital plan, which will put in $68 billion into our transit system, which includes new subway cars, buses, rail cars, right? Providing that 21st century transportation to folks, but also increasing accessibility as we're doing all of this. We're also modernizing our signals throughout the system. It's great if we can have all of these nice bells and whistles on these buses and trains, but if they can't get folks to where they need to go to because of our aging system, we're not investing properly. So we're ensuring that we're investing in the infrastructure itself, making sure that our signals are up to date, they're modern, and that we can get people to where they need to go and kind of match that 21st century transit experience. And additionally, one of the most important things is, you guys may have heard what happened earlier this week. We are investing in preparing for extreme storms and weather. Our system is old, it's over 100 years old. So with changing times and the changing weather, we need to make sure that we are investing properly. And so we are working on funding for extreme storms and weather and making sure that we are prepared for all of that. Through this $68 billion in funding, we're also investing $6 billion into making new stations accessible. And so by the end of this 25 to 29 plan, more than half of our system will be fully accessible, compared to today where we are at 29% accessibility. So we are making strides, but still have a long ways to go. Talking about we have a map on the left-hand side that shows how we are going to be making the system accessible. What is the status of the stations in progress, ones that are already made accessible. So as you could see, that map is lighting up, but we still have more to go. So by the end of this plan, 50% of our stations will be accessible. In the middle, I just want to talk about the image that we have in the middle really quickly. The middle image really showcases our latest investment into our system with a really modern, accessible fare gate that increases accessibility, but it also will deter fare evasion and further just ensure safety for all of our riders. Be on the lookout. This is coming out this fall. So we're going to ask our customers to give us feedback, check them out. What do you like about them? What do you not like? What could we do to make it better? So keep an eye out on that. Lots of investments happening in transit, in accessibility, and everything that transit is investing in touches on accessibility one way or another. Next slide, please. Jumping onto Omni and Omni reduced fare. We are saying goodbye to the MetroCard later this year, and we are going to be replacing it with Omni, which is our new fare payment system. And this new fare payment system provides a lot more options for our riders. Riders can use an Omni card to pay, but they can also now use their personal debit or credit card, a phone or a smart device to tap and pay for their rides, right? Providing that additional mechanism for them to have options for which ways they would like to pay. The MTA has rolled out our reduced fare Omni. So everyone in the reduced fare program should have received an Omni card at this point. They were mailed out earlier this year and late last year. So if you have not received your card, we're asking folks to contact the Omni team, and we'll drop in links for how you can sign up for our reduced fare Omni program, which is half off subways, buses, and the railroads. And we'll drop information about the Omni team, contacting the Omni team. Omni is coming to Access-a-Ride. We are doing a slow rollout right now. Access-a-Ride is starting to transition their customers over to Omni. Every Access-a-Ride customer will be getting a card in the mail. No action is needed from any Access-a-Ride customer at this moment. We will be mailing you your cards when you get your card in the mail. We ask that you start using your Omni Access-a-Ride card. But for right now, if you are an Access-a-Ride customer, no worries, we will be getting to you in time. We are doing a slow rollout to make sure that all of our customers are comfortable using the new system. So you should be getting it before we phase out MetroCard. Next slide, please. Perfect. Going into the digital tools, I touched on a little bit really early on about accessing information and providing real-time information for our customers and providing audio-visual capabilities. And so we're able to do that through our customer information screens and our digital information screens on buses. So we have a new design for all of our customer information screens, and these screens provide real-time information, service changes, next stop information, public service announcements, really provides our customers with information across the system while they are there in real time. We also have two apps, the MTA app and the Train Time app, which are really useful and helpful for planning trips and chatting with MTA employees on the go. And so we'll drop the links in those as well, where you can favorite, customize the information that you're receiving from these apps. So lots of ways to access real-time information from the MTA and plan your trips in advance before you move forward with traveling. Next slide, please. And I'm going to go through this slide a little bit quickly because I am running out of time. But we're doing a lot of great things. And one of the things that we are doing is testing innovative pilots. As I had mentioned, our team has been tasked with accelerating accessibility and looking for new innovative ways to accelerate accessibility. And we have 3 pilots that we're running right now. One for our users who use ASL, Convo, which connects them with a live ASL interpreter in system. We have Navilens for our blind and low vision riders that provides navigational information. And then we are also testing strollers on buses. So we have a pilot running right now for strollers on buses for our parents and caregivers. And we'll drop the links in the chat here so that you can learn more about these. Go out, take the surveys. We need to hear from the community. Really, nothing about us without us is the motto here. So please go out, test, and give us feedback in order for us to be able to know that we are moving in the right direction and that these tools and features that we're rolling out work for the customers and are providing what we intend them to provide. Next slide, please. And of course, celebrate ADA 35 with the MTA. So we are here because of the ADA, and I have a job because of the ADA, but happy ADA 35. We've made great strides, but we continue to make strides. And we are hosting 2 panels where you can engage with the MTA and learn more about what we are doing and accessibility, technology, everything that relates to accessibility at the MTA. July 22nd and July 31st are the next 2 panels. We will drop that in the chat. And also, this Saturday, we will be at Union Square to test Navilens. I will have my colleagues drop that in the chat. You will have our staff and our team will be there directly to help people test Navilens, download the apps, give you instructions on how to use it, and answer any questions that you may have. So come out this Saturday at Union Square. Our team will be there, and we hope to see you all there. If I go to the last slide and I will hand it over, these are just ways that you guys can connect with our team and the MTA. You can reach out to us about anything accessibility at the MTA through our email, accessibility@mtahq.org. And if you have any questions about or for the MTA, these are the various channels that you can reach us. Thank you so much for having me. I know I threw a lot of information out there, but we hope to hear from you guys. We hope to continue to engage with everyone here that has joined. And I will pass it back to you, Walker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for your wonderful, very informative presentation. Um, that was a lot of information, but such good and important resources. And I just want to reiterate that this info session is being recorded and will be posted publicly for you all to access afterwards, as well as all of the information that is being shared in the chat will also be shared with you for your reference afterwards. But thanks so much. And next, we have another poll question. So our question is, which agency installs and maintains pedestrian ramps and crosswalk signals? And the choices are the MTA, the New York City DOT, the Taxi and Limousine Commission, or the Department of Sanitation. So feel free to think and respond. We'll give you a couple moments. All right, should we go ahead and show the answers? Or rather, the answer. Okay, great. So 90% of folks responded the New York City Department of Transportation is the agency that installs and maintains pedestrian ramps and crosswalk signals, and that is the correct answer. Wonderful. If you didn't get that right, no worries, you learned something. And with that, we'll go ahead and move on to Edmund Asiedu from the New York City Department of Transportation. Take it away, Edmund.
Thank you, Walker, and thanks to Sarah for the first presentation. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Edmund Asiedu, and I am the ADA coordinator with the New York City Department of Transportation. Today, it is an honor to uh, sort of discuss with you or share with you some of the things that you already know we do, according to the poll results that we just saw, and also some of the things that probably you didn't know that we are the agency that is responsible for that. The image on the screen right now showcases a raised crosswalk that is being used by people of all ages. And so let's move on to the next slide. Oh, and before I go on, I am a Black young man working from home today. With my background is blurred, and my pronouns are he, him, his. So let's move on. The image that we have on the current slide showcases it shows people using crosswalk, and in the same image, you can see a bike path that is being used by bikers, and we also have pedestrians and some buildings on the background. So, what is the New York City Department of Transportation? We are the city agency responsible for safe movement of pedestrians, goods and vehicular traffic on the streets, highways, and waterways in the city. Our agency's vision is a transportation system that provides equitable mobility for all residents and visitors. It's environmentally sustainable and built to adapt to the threats of climate change and is driven by human power and clean energy. Next slide, please.
Edmund, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but it
Oh,
sounds like some folks are having a bit of trouble hearing you.
okay.
Wondering if you could try to speak a little bit more loudly.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I'm sure, but definitely, Walker, let me know. And I'm sorry to those who have not been hearing me. I will try my best to be as loud as I can so that you can hear me. Okay, so we are moving on. On the slide right now, we have three images. One shows the beautiful and iconic Brooklyn Bridge. with people and vehicles or cars or side by side, and also a bike lane with active bikers on it. In the middle, we have New York City DOT crews filling potholes with yellow vehicle being used. And also on to the left hand side of us, we have the photo of an elevated road infrastructure, also showcasing some of our crews working there. So New York City maintains, New York City DOT maintains over 6,300 miles of streets, over 12,000 miles of sidewalks, approximately 800 bridges and tunnels citywide. Next slide, please. New York City DOT maintains over 1 million street signs, 13,500 signalized intersections, nearly 400,000 street lights, and Staten Island Ferry. Those of you who may not know, New York City DOT maintains that as well. And with the images on the top, we have the picture of an accessible pedestrian signal device on a pole. And at the background, we have, I believe, some of our crew members actively working there as well with the street and people running on it. At the bottom, we also have older adults really enjoying a safer crosswalk around the city. Let's move on to the next. And also to the left, we have a beautiful photo of Staten Island Ferry, I believe in motion on the waters as we may expect it to be. Let's move on to the next slide, please. So now how New York City DOT supports you in all modes. So we have some images on there from left to right. We have one that showcases how we support you when it comes to walking and rolling and wheeling. And then next to that, we have how we support you when it comes to driving, and also how we support with buses in order for buses to be able to move you from one destination to the other. And then the other one also showcase or shows how we support you so that you'll be able to bike. Let's move on to the next slide. So how do we support you when it comes to walking and rolling and wheeling? This is what we do or how we do it. We install and upgrade pedestrian ramps that are ADA compliant throughout the cities. And these compliance ramps can be used by wheelchairs, walkers or strollers, even delivery workers benefit from that. And everyone also uses that. And then also we install the accessible pedestrian signals. These accessible pedestrian signals are supposed to help individuals or guide individuals who have vision disabilities be independent when crossing our intersections. We also have a program called Safe Streets for Seniors. This program is used to improve intersections with longer crossing times, curb extensions, and clearer crosswalks in neighborhoods with many older adults. We also have City Bench program. You may have seen them around the city. These are benches that we install near bus stops, clinics, senior centers, and long blocks so people can rest when needed as they are walking around the city. We also have public plazas and open streets. What we are doing is that we are giving a portion of the streets that we have to the people because we believe that people can also use these streets for a whole lot of activities, for gathering, for walking, for rolling, and for partying. That is why we do this. We also have Vision Zero Safety Improvement Initiative, which has really helped the city reduce issues of crashes that involve pedestrians. So let's move on. Oh, sorry, with the images, On the top, we have a beautiful city bench being utilized by an older adult. At the bottom, to your left, we have an image of an accessible pedestrian signal device. And also to the right, we have a picture of people using, I believe, older adults using crosswalk in somewhere in the city. Let's move on to the next slide, please.
Edmund, this is Walker
Hi.
again. Before you go
Hi.
on, I just want to see if it's possible for you to move a little bit closer to your mic. Some folks are still having a bit of trouble
Okay.
hearing you.
Sorry. Okay. How is it? Please keep on telling me now. I'm sure probably it's a little better, but please let us know, and I really apologize for that. So let's move on. How do we, as an agency, how do we support you when it comes to driving? We issue two parking permits for people with disabilities. One is one is for the states. From the states, we issue that on behalf of New York State. It helps you park your vehicle on off-street reserved parking spaces for individuals with disabilities. And then we also have the New York City parking permit for people with disabilities. This parking permit, when it is issued to you, you will be able to park on the streets of New York City. It gives individuals with disabilities and their families more parking privileges. For example, you can park at the metered parking spaces without paying for it. You can park at no parking anytime spaces, and also many other parking reserved parking spaces around the city. We also handle roadway maintenance and resurfacing projects, which help us keep the streets even and safer for you to be able to drive from one end to the other. We also implement traffic calming and intersection redesigns. All these are made in order to make sure that pedestrians, drivers, and cyclists both, respect each other or everyone that is using so that there will be no crashes. The streets will be more safer for everyone. We also have smart traffic signals. This improve traffic flow and safety at busy intersections. Please, if you cannot hear me, let me know. And somebody says still cannot hear me. Okay, let me keep getting more closer and closer, and I really apologize. I hope this time around it is a little better. So with the images on your screen right now, to the left, we have crew members working actively on the street, trying their best to fix some potholes that we have on the street somewhere. To the right, on top, we have an image of the New York City parking permit for people with disabilities, sample one. It's blue and white and also black with black text. And then also, okay, some people are saying I have to lower the camera. Okay, somebody want to lip read. Okay, please, I'm trying to do that. Sorry about that. I hope you can see my lips right now. Okay, good, thank you. And then also at the bottom, with the images at the bottom, we have a photo of a crosswalk showing some form of treatment that we do in order to make sure that pedestrians are safer. Let's move on to the next one. So the next slide with the images we have on top, we have an image of the beautiful streets that has in the middle has lanes for cars, and then on both sides it has bus only lanes. At the bottom, we have individuals with disabilities waiting for the next bus to arrive at a bus stop that is maintained by New York City DOT. So what do we do when it comes to buses? We have Better Buses Initiative. This is through this program, New York City DOT implement bus lanes, busways, and transit signal a priority to reduce bus delays and make trips faster and more reliable for everyone. And when it comes to buses, we also maintain the bus lanes and the busways. These are dedicated lanes that keep buses in order for them to move smoothly. We also have bus stops, and bus stops it also includes access and ride, pick up and drop off locations around the city. So we do this in order to make boarding safer for wheelchair users and people with mobility devices. And as part of this responsibility, we are also piloting two initiatives that will help us really serve customers of MTA and also our customers when it comes to the bus stops. When it comes to real time, passenger information. So we'll be keeping you updated on that very as we move along in the next few weeks. Let's move on to the next slide, please. So the next slide talks about biking, and with respect to the images, we have three of them. On top, to the left, we have an image of an individual with a disability using a tricycle, and also somebody using a regular bike. Or to the left on top, to the right on top, we have two bikers. One is a child, and with the adults helping the child really fix their helmets. And then at the bottom, we have a bike lane that is actively being used by bikers, two bikers, and also it has some flower pot in the background as well. So this really tells you a lot. We implement protected bike lanes in order to make sure that bikers and cyclists in general are really safe in order for them to go about their daily lives as their bike on the streets of New York. Through our partners, Lyft implemented or run an adaptive cycling pilots with Achilles International that really provides individuals with disabilities with adaptive bikes. It happens around the city. If you're interested in biking, you'll be able to use hand cycles for free in all 5 boroughs. We also have bike parking and corrals around the city. These are supposed to help so that bikes are not really parked anyhow around the city to make the sidewalks more safer. We have city bike expansion, which is helping us really build more share, bike stations, stations where you can find city bikes around the city. If you really want a bike, we are making sure that this become a reality. We also have bike education and helmet fitting, as I mentioned with the images, where we do outreach, and through that we educate people on how they can bike safely, especially when it comes to helmet. Using helmets will keep you really safer. We have greenways and connections. This connects safe routes to parks and waterfronts. And then we have accessible e-scooter devices. So one thing that probably a lot of us may not know is that the e-scooter share programs that we have in the Bronx and the Queens, the vendors also carry accessible devices that you can go to their website. You can reserve them. It will be sent to your homes or whatever delivery address that you provide. And even if you need help setting the devices up, they will support you with that so that you'll be able to use it. Most of them will not cost you anything. So if you are interested in that, please feel free to reach out to us or the vendors and will be able to assist you on how to reserve that. Next slide, please. So New York City DOT, our key accessibility is a key pillar when it comes to our commitment, or New York City DOT's commitment to equity. Our agency strives to make our streets, programs, and services accessible to all New Yorkers, including those with disabilities. New York City DOT's policy is to comply with all applicable laws, including but not limited to Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA and Rehabilitation Act, and the New York State and City human rights laws. Happy ADA. Let's move on to the next slide, please.
Hi, Edmund. This is Walker
Hey.
again. Sorry, just a quick time check.
Yes.
We're nearing up on our allotted time for
Okay,
this
good.
section.
Okay, I'll wrap up very soon. Very soon. So, and I'm gonna do this very quickly. With the image on the screen, it shows the first page or the front page of New York City DOT's 5-year accessibility plan from 2024 to 2028. And this plan shows areas with which we've been investing both time, money, and everything just to make sure that our city is safer and accessible to everyone. Next slide, please. And with the image, we have in the image we have someone with a physical disability using a power chair, waiting on a pedestrian ramp, ready to cross the street. So with this one, it shows the front page or the first page of our 2025 accessibility progress reports, plan progress report, and it shows a lot of progress, during the last year that we have made in meeting some of the goals that we set in our plan. And I will mention only one, which talks about 5.5 million investment that we've made on NYCHA sidewalk repairs and about 500,000 square feet repairs that we've made, and also about 3,400 APS that we have installed. Next, please. Next slide, please. So stay in the loop with New York City DOT. We host APS town halls twice a year. You are open to attend. We don't limit it to a few people. If you are interested, please let us know. We will be able to. We invite everyone, disability organization representatives, and also individual advocates get the chance to attend. We also host meetings. Let's move on to the next slide, please. So this slide really shows how we try our best to be, at the grassroots level. I mean, let's say at the borough level, we have contacts that you can reach in every borough so that your needs will be met. At all the 5 boroughs, we have representation that we can share these contacts with you. You can also find out on our website so that you'll be able to report your complaints. Yay, thank you. Since we're all done, thank you so much for listening. We'll try our best to respond to all the questions. And once again, I really apologize for the audio issues that we had earlier. Thank you. Walker, take it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Edmund. This is Walker. Thank you so much for your presentation, Edmund. That was a lot of great information. And we're going to skip the poll because we're running a little bit over time. And I want to make sure that Yesenia and Paul have enough time for their presentation. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Yesenia. Thanks so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Walker. My name is Yesenia Torres. I work at the Taxi Limousine Commission. I am the Accessibility Outreach Coordinator and the Disability Service Facilitator. Next slide. Okay, so New York City Taxi and Limousine Commission was created in 1971. It's an agency responsible for licensing and regulating New York City's medallion, yellow cabs, for hire vehicles, community-based liveries, black cars, and luxury limousines like commuter vans and parent transit vehicles. And on the right-hand side, we have a logo of our taxi and limousine commission badge. Next. Office of Inclusion. But before, let me describe myself. I'm sorry for that because I know that the time is crunching. I am a Latino. I have braids, frosting yellow braids with curls. I have a teal blouse, a scarf, a white scarf, and small transparent glasses. So let's continue. Our Office of Inclusion was created by the City Council and Taxi Limousine Commission in response to Local Law 219 of 2018 to make sure the riding public received equal and courteous service from taxis and for hire vehicles. Next slide. This slide is named Passenger Assistance with Wave and Wave Training. On the right hand, we have a picture of a ramp with a scooter inside with a person putting their securements. And as TLC licensed drivers are required to complete courses that include disability etiquette and hands-on securements demonstration in wheelchair accessible vehicles. Next. The slide is for hire vehicles accessibility, and you can see a picture of a wave vehicle that has a ramp entrance on the side, and below they have a vehicle with a back entrance ramp and a person in a wheelchair going inside the ramp. So every car service company in New York City, known as a TLC license-based, are required to provide wheelchair accessible vehicles when requested. These trips are required under TLC rules, and they cannot add extra cost to a passenger. Next. Accessible Dispatch is the slide. It has their logo on the right-hand side and a second picture of a wheelchair accessible vehicle, and it reads access the city like never before. So TLC had transitioned to a new accessible e-hail model in response to the changing accessible transportation ecosystem. So this new accessible e-hail model will provide passengers greater options when selecting a service provider. So passengers can use the apps. The apps that passengers can use for this service is Accessible Dispatch NYC, Arrow, Curb, or Mile to hail a ride in a green or yellow taxi. Also, passengers can call the number 646-599-9999 to request an accessible vehicle. In addition to accessible taxi services, passengers can receive an FHV accessible ride by connecting with their Uber and Lyft through their respective apps. Next. The slide is passengers' rights. So in your service, every person is destined to have an equal service regardless of destination or protected class. When we talk about protected class, you cannot be discriminated because of your race, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, age, immigration status, pregnancy, sorts of, of protected classes. When we talk about safety, drivers by a TLC licensed driver has to be in good standing. They're driving. They have to obey the road rules and regulations, and they have to be working with safety equipment. And the ride must be smoke-free at all times. On the right hand, we could see logos of a person hailing a cab and a seatbelt belt. In access, you have the right to obtain a wheelchair accessible vehicle by phone. The phone I mentioned before is 646-599-9999 or 311 New York Raleigh 711, by an e-hail or FHB app, or through a local FHB base. There's also a logo of a moving wheelchair. Next, please. The slide is service refusal, and we have a picture of a person hailing a yellow cab. So TLC licensed drivers cannot refuse services, and the reasons why they can't would be anyone traveling within city of the 5 boroughs. They cannot refuse a service taking you to anywhere around the 5 boroughs, traveling to Westchester and Nassau counties, or to LaGuardia, John F. Kennedy, and Newark airports. They have to take you there. After the driver has acknowledged the customer, if they see the customer and they speak to them and then they drive off, they cannot do that. Another thing is a trip that they accept through e-hail, and then they discard it in the map. And the fare is not accepted or interrupted by the driver. Next. This slide is complaint process. So to make a complaint process, you could use the 311 for any type of complaints, and rest assured that this is the fastest and most effective way to get your issues resolved through the 311 complaint system. Complaints are automatically routed to appropriate TLC unit, and if the complaint involves a TLC rule violation, a prosecutor will connect you. And also, a proven track record of success that we have is 91.6% of violations are admitted to or upheld at a hearing. Next. Oh, there's a picture of a gentleman in our offices showing a bill and data on a complaint. Next. So NYC, New York City, reaches a historical accessibility milestone. A month ago, we finally reached a 50% of all active New York City taxis that are wheelchair accessible. We met the 50% activation of all accessible wheelchairs in New York City. That's a big milestone for us. And I could indicate that we have a fleet of about 12,000 accessible vehicles now included in our system of taxis, yellow cabs. Next. So this is my contact. Like I mentioned, accessibility outreach coordinator. There is my number, my email, and my Office of Inclusion's email. So for further information, you could contact us. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yesenia. Everyone, this is Walker again. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it directly to Paul from the Port Authority. Take it away.
Hi, everybody. My name is Paul Farber. I work for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey as the Title VI and ADA Compliance Coordinator. I'm a middle-aged man with salt and pepper beard and blue shirt. I'll be giving everyone a quick overview of the Port Authority and where it fits into the New York area's transportation network. Next slide, please. So the Port Authority has many facilities throughout the region, as shown on the map on the slide. Our biggest ones include the 3 regional airports, Newark, Liberty in New Jersey, and LaGuardia and JFK airports in Queens. We also operate Hudson River crossings connecting New York and New Jersey, including the George Washington Bridge and the Lincoln and Holland tunnels. In addition, we operate the Goethals and Bayonne bridges to Staten Island, the Midtown Bus Terminal in Manhattan, and the PATH trains, which connect New Jersey and Manhattan. Just to mention, in this presentation, I'll be focusing just on our main transportation facilities for the public. Next slide, please. The Port Authority has for many years maintained a strong commitment to ADA accessibility and universal design. I'll skip to the next slide, please. This commitment has been recognized by a number of different organizations with rewards and honors, including one recently from the Rick Hansen Foundation, recognizing accessibility at our new LaGuardia Terminal B. Next slide, please. One accomplishment that I'm especially proud of is our set of accessibility requirements for new construction and alterations that go above and beyond those in the ADA and other laws. We call it our supplemental accessibility requirements, or SAR. Next slide, please. One of the big highlights of the SAR is an increase in the ADA's wheelchair turning space minimum from 60 inches to 67 inches. The slide shows a drawing of this new specification. It may seem like a minor change, but it actually amounts to more than a 10% increase in maneuvering room for users of wheelchairs and scooters. Next slide, please. The SAR also requires hearing loops in specific areas in airports and other facilities. For those who might not know, hearing loops help users of hearing aids hear announcements and communicate with staff. The slide shows the icon used to identify hearing loops in our facilities. Next slide, please. One other SAR highlight requires adult changing stations in some family restrooms in our airports. These are great amenities for people who need them while traveling through airports. We've already installed them at Newark and LaGuardia, and they will be coming soon to JFK as new terminals are built there in the next few years. A few examples of these adult changing stations are shown on the slide. Next slide, please. Okay, let's focus in on the airport experience for a few minutes. Next slide. The Port Authority is actually in the process of an enormous rebuilding effort at all three of our major airports. We've already opened two great new terminals at LaGuardia and a new Terminal A at Newark, and a new air train is also coming at Newark. JFK redevelopment is also well underway with a new Terminal 1 and a new Terminal 6 being rolled out starting next year. Next slide, please. Let's focus in on one great feature at the new LaGuardia Terminal B. At the front of the terminal at all levels, we have what is called a curbless frontage. The roadway and the sidewalk are actually flush with one another, so there's no need to navigate a curb or look for a curb ramp to enter or exit the terminal. The photo shows one of these on the slide. So this is obviously very helpful for wheelchair users, but it's also a great amenity for all passengers as they make their way with luggage coming and going to the terminal. It's also a very nice example of a universal design. Next slide, please. I'd also like to mention something called the Hidden Disabilities Lanyard Program. This is a service available at all of the airport welcome centers. People can wear the lanyard to discreetly indicate to staff that they have a non-visible disability, such as autism, dementia, or ADHD, and may need help, assistance, or simply more time during their airport visit. The slide shows a few people using these lanyards. Next slide, please. Another recent accessibility win at our airports is the construction of sensory spaces in a number of the terminals. These are rooms that provide a calm space for travelers to decompress. They are especially popular and important for families traveling with members who have autism and similar conditions. The slide shows photos of sensory spaces at all three of our main airports. Next slide, please. Also at all of our terminals, you'll find service animal relief areas called SARAs. These are essential for people traveling with the assistance of service animals. Some of these are quite nice and sizable. My favorite one is the SARA at JFK Terminal 5, which is called the Woof Top. It's actually located at the roof level of the terminal and includes benches and a nice park-like atmosphere. You can see a few photos showing the Woof Top on the slide. Next slide, please. I'll give you a few tips for airport travelers with disabilities. First off, if you need wheelchair or other disability assistance at the airport, that should be arranged directly with your airline. You can call them in advance or request assistance from them at the terminal. For assistance navigating TSA checkpoints, which I know are a common pain point for travelers with disabilities, TSA has a great helpline called TSA Cares. It's a great resource. In terms of travel between terminals, you will always find wheelchair accessible buses, and there's a fully accessible air train at JFK and at Newark. For blind or low vision travelers, we've partnered with a service called AIRA, AIRA, which is a mobile app, which provides wayfinding help with the assistance of a live remote agent. The symbol for the AIRA app is shown on the slide at the top. Next slide, please. Now let's switch gears and touch on the Port Authority's tunnels, bridges, and terminals. Next slide. Very popular this time of year. are the pedestrian walkways over the George Washington, the Goethals, and the Bayonne bridges. All of these are wheelchair accessible. A picture of the George Washington Bridge walkway is shown on the slide. Next slide, please. Okay, one of our older facilities is the Midtown Bus Terminal, which features commuter buses to New Jersey along with long-distance bus service to other areas. The photo on the slide shows the interior of the terminal. So at the terminal, most of the bus gates are fully accessible. A few gates are unfortunately only accessible by stairs or escalators. Passengers needing access to those buses can easily request that their bus stop or for pickup or drop off at an alternative accessible gate. This can be arranged at the information booth or by dialing the number 54 on any in-house phone or by calling the terminal ahead of time to arrange that. I think a question came in about whether there's a escort service or general disability assistance available at the Midtown Bus Terminal. The answer is yes. You can approach anybody at the help desks or the like I said, the number 54 on the in-house phones can get you direct assistance, and someone should be able to assist you with, let's say, wheelchair escort or other disability-related assistance. What's exciting is that there's a new Midtown bus terminal which will be coming in the future. The Port Authority is excited to be developing a brand new cutting-edge Midtown bus terminal to replace the existing one. The new terminal will be built out in phases over the next 10 to 15 years. It will be very well designed and an expanded bus terminal. It'll be first in class in terms of accessibility and amenities for travelers with disabilities. The slide shows a couple of renderings of the future terminal. Next slide, please. We also have a smaller bus station in Upper Manhattan at the GW Bridge, which was rebuilt in 2017. It's a fully accessible facility with barrier-free access to all buses. This station connects Upper Manhattan to northern New Jersey and to areas of New York that are west of the Hudson River. The slide shows a few photos and floor plans of the station. Next slide, please. Okay, let's touch on our PATH train service for the last few minutes. Next slide, please. Here the slide shows the PATH system map. It's important to know that 9 of the 13 stations have elevator access from the street. These stations are marked on the map with the wheelchair icon. The 4 stations that do not have elevators are Christopher Street, 9th Street, 14th Street, and 23rd Street in Manhattan. All of the hub stations that connect different lines do have elevators. Next slide, please. In recent years, many of the PATH stations have been enhanced with ADA fare gates at all of the accessible stations, as well as detectable warnings at all platforms and color contrast strips for visibility on stairs. Photos of all of these are shown on the slide. Next slide, please. We were excited this year to roll out a brand new reduced fare program for eligible riders with disabilities, offering a 50% discount on PATH fares. Passengers who are interested in this can apply by mail or in person at PATH stations. We also have a dedicated reduced fare application center at Journal Square in Jersey City. A picture of that is shown on the slide. Next slide, please. A few quick tips for PATH passengers. We have a trip planning page on our website linked on the slide. You can also check on elevator and escalator status and get online service alerts on the PATH website. One great tool to use is the RidePath app, which you can use to receive customized push notifications on your mobile devices. The slide shows the escalator, stairs, and elevator at the Harrison, New Jersey PATH station. Next slide, please. That's it. Please feel free to contact us through our dedicated email address for all things related to accessibility. That's ada@panyj.gov. All of our Port Authority facilities have extensive accessibility information on our website, organized by facility. That can be found at www.panyj.gov. Please check us out there and feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns. Thanks so much. Back to you, Walker.
Thank you so much, Paul. That was a wonderful presentation. And thank you to all of our presenters. With the remaining time, we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. We have received so many questions, and unfortunately, we are running short on time today. But I want to make sure we cover at least one question for each agency. And I also want to encourage you to follow up directly with the relevant agency to answer your question. We've been sharing some contact information in the chat, and I will make sure to share that again at the end of this session. So with that, we'll start with a question for the MTA. So one question is, who operates the Fair Fares program? Is that the MTA?
Sorry, trying to unmute. Thank you so much. This is Sarah Berry from MTA. We do not operate the Fair Fares program. Fair Fares is a city program that is operated through HRA. So if anyone has any questions, they have to go through HRA. Unfortunately, it is not something that we operate, nor do we have access to the information in their systems.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And I'll give you another question while you're here. Would it ever be possible for us to schedule same-day trips with my Access-a-Ride, my AAR?
That's a really good question. At this moment, we are looking for this option in the future. At the moment, with the capabilities that we have, it is not available, but it is something that we are exploring. We hear our customers loud and clear, and we are looking at what is feasible and what is possible. There's also a question of supply demand, so we are definitely looking at it. We are running the data, the information. We're looking into this.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Now I'm going to move to a question for the Department of Transportation. So one question is, can you apply for a disability parking permit online? Also, how do you apply for a PPPD? I'll pass that along to Edmund.
So can you hear me?
You're pretty quiet. Can you move closer to the mic?
That is so terrible. I'm sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
It's a bit better.
Okay, good. Thank you. I will try my best to be as loud as I can. But can you apply for the PPPD online? The answer is no. In the meantime, we are still using the hard paper copies of the form. You complete that. You will have to do that with your physician, and then you mail it to us, and then we submit it to DOHMH for certification. But in the near future, we are looking into the possibility of making that possible. Did I answer the question?
Yes, I think so. So if folks couldn't hear, the answer is no for the time being. So you do have to apply a hard copy by mail, but we are exploring options to integrate the digital application in the near future. Thank you, Edmund. I'm going to give a question to Yesenia from the Taxi and Limousine Commission. So one question we received is, how does the TLC ensure that drivers drop passengers off at their requested destination? Some riders have experienced being let out at a different location. Yeah, I think that's the full question.
Okay, it's a complex question because it depends on the situation. For example, many people want to just have the driver let them off like in the exact location that they have, but sometimes it's impossible because of the streets, traffic, and curve cuts. So you have to try to work it out with the driver, what's convenient for you, and they would appropriately service you and try to get you to the safest actually way to drop you off or drop you in, pick you up.
Sounds good. Thanks, Yesenia. I'm going to go back to the MTA. We did get lots and lots of questions for the MTA. So I'll do another one. Let's see. I currently use Access-a-Ride and it is difficult to always have exact change for the fare. How can I get Omni enabled on my Access-a-Ride account?
Wonderful question. As I mentioned earlier, Omni for Access-a-Ride we are in the process of rolling it out. We are doing a slow rollout, so we will be mailing it out to customers in batches. Every customer will receive a card, so don't worry, you should get that in the mail. So sit tight for now. We are not bumping anybody up on the list. We're not taking requests for people who are interested in joining Omni right now. The process is basically we're mailing them in batches. once you reach your badge, you will receive it in the mail with information and instructions on how to use it. I also saw a few questions that I was answering in the chat about Omni for Access-a-Ride, how it's going to work. So Omni for Access-a-Ride is going to be an account-based system. So people can pay for their Access-a-Ride trips on the back end, meaning that they can link their card, and pay before and not have exact change. So that is a benefit of Omni for Access-a-Ride. And there is still going to be an option for exact change. So if people just are not interested in using the back end system and paying on the back end, they can still pay in cash.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Sarah. And then there's another question I see also for the MTA. Does Three Stone have new Queens bus maps?
Yes, this is a question that we are getting. So we just rolled out the new Queens redesign. We are in the process of making sure that the new maps are out everywhere. So in the very near future, we will have these maps available for everyone. If you are interested in receiving a map, you can always email us accessibility@mtahq.org, and we can let you know where to get them and when they're available as well.
Sounds good. Thanks, Sarah. This is Walker again, and I'm going to ask another question for the Department of Transportation. So Edmund, why are bikes and scooters being used on the sidewalks?
That's a very good question. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Project a little bit more.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Edmund.
Okay, great, Sarah, thank you. So as to why people use, bikes and e-scooters and all those devices on the sidewalk, we don't know why they do that. But what I know is that the city, various city agencies, including New York City DOT and NYPD, we've been making effort to make sure that people do not use these devices on the sidewalks. And so we're educating, these bikers, the users, on why they shouldn't use them on the sidewalks. You may have come into contact with some of them so many times, but hopefully, one day we will not be able to see them on the sidewalks. Thank you.
Thank you, Edmund. All right, we've got a couple more questions for the Taxi and Limousine Commission. Let's see. What rules or guidelines does TLC have around drivers using mobile phones while driving? Some passengers have felt unsafe when drivers are engaged in phone conversations. How is this behavior addressed or monitored?
That's very illegal for any type of driver to be on the phone. What we advise people is to please put in the complaint, call us up, and report what's happening so we could take it, under our wing and make sure it doesn't happen. We have to make the complaint.
Sounds good. Thank you. We've also been getting some questions about language barriers with drivers. How does TLC have any recommendations for passengers that are having trouble communicating with their driver?
Okay, so unfortunately, it's not on our hands to deal with it because it was it was um it was taken down by city council. So one type of recommendation would be everybody, tries to have a smartphone, try to ask the driver if they could put in the translator, or if you have a translator, try to communicate that way. But this really is out of our hands. It's with council. So advocates, go and please ask for that.
And if I may chime in from the MTA's
Mhm.
perspective as well, for our Access-a-Ride drivers, they do receive trainings, and the trainings, some of our brokers, which is the vendors that provide it, do provide training in the languages that they understand as well. So we are working with those language barriers, and we try to, the brokers do give them kind of ways to communicate and important information that they need to know with the customers in their language and in English so that they're able to communicate with customers.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sarah and Yesenia. We'll do one question for the Port Authority for Paul. I have, where can folks get the lanyard that you talked about for customers who are neurodivergent or have autism?
Sure. That can be obtained at any of our airport welcome centers. And if there's trouble finding those welcome centers, our website has them all nicely identified on the airport maps. Or there are customer service personnel in the airport identified by red coats called ACEs, and they could always help you and guide you to the welcome centers and help you get one of those lanyards.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. And we are unfortunately running short on time, so we'll have to close here. We did get so many really good questions and also some questions that were fairly specific, and we do encourage you to reach out to the relevant agency with those questions. So yeah, if you have follow-up questions, please do reach out to the agency representatives who presented today. We have their contact information on the screen, and we'll also share it in the chat. And a note on the chat, we will make sure to save a transcript of the chat and share it with all attendees for your reference. So you'll have those links conveniently. So I'll hold it up here. So for the MTA, you can reach out to accessibility@mtahq.org. For the New York City Department of Transportation, you can reach out to accessibility@dot.nyc.gov. For the New York City Taxi and Limousine Commission, you can reach out to, the email is torresye@tlc.nyc.gov. And the email for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey is ada@panyj.gov. And so with that, I think we'll close for today. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And I also want to reiterate that this was the first event in our new series, Access to Independence. We hope that if you learned something today, that you stay tuned for upcoming events. And to do that, you can sign up for the Mobility Management newsletter at www.dotmobility.nyc. So from there, we'll be sharing all of the details about our future events. So please be sure to stay tuned. And then I just want to reiterate that the session was live streamed today and will be available on DOT's YouTube channel afterwards. And I will be sure to share a transcript of the chat as well. And yeah, thank you so much to our presenters. Thank you to the interpreters for all of your work, for the cart captioner. We're really grateful that you joined us today, and we hope you learned something. I hope